Ladies and gentlemen, today we have two of some of the worst portals from Spyro 1. We have trash.
Where in God's name are the frickin' arches?
We have garbage.
Spyro, turn!
My fellow friends, today I am here posing yet another quick question because I want to know what you think. Which flight portal was harder to clear? Or rather, which flight portal almost made you lose your shit? Let's be honest, we all hate flight portals. However, when it comes to Spyro 1, there's only two that really stand out as shitty flight portals. On one side of the Golden Gate Bridge, there's a dark portal full of large crystals so sharp, they're almost a pain in my ass. And on another side of the Golden Gate Bridge, there's a bright and happy portal with so many sharp turns and confusing tunnels that is probably responsible for a lot of broken controllers and PC monitors. Anyways, based on previous encounters and experiences of the past, and even the facts I'm going to present, personally, my answer is Night Flight. I'm going to be honest with you, I hate both of these portals. However, when it comes to flight portals, Night Flight has always been a pain in my ass. Even having to replay it, trying to find the best route to clear the entire stage, it was almost stroke worthy. But don't get me wrong, that motherfucker was a very close second. As a first-time player. No, wait, y'all didn't hear me. Let me say that again. As a first-time player, you have no real idea as to what to expect or what you're supposed to be doing. There wasn't even a freaking tutorial for it. They just threw you into the damn portal and was like, collect gems, bro. At least with Wild Flight, it's the fourth flight portal in the game, and you know what you need to do, so adjusting to the bullshit and the objectives shouldn't have taken as long. Whereas Night Flight, you are given no real explanation or directions as to what you're supposed to be doing upon entering the portal, except flying through things and burning shit. Listen, usually when new things get introduced to a game, they're on a basic level, you know, friendly, easy, understandable, except when you play Outlast for the first time. Regardless, that wasn't Night Flight. You were literally confused from start to finish with what the hell you needed to do, what you needed to find, and getting everything in one go to get all the gems and leave. In addition to all that, doing Night Flight for all in one was not easy. When you enter Wild Flight for the very first time, there are more than 5 or 6 possible ways you could probably beat this portal. There's more than a couple ways you can get everything in one go and finish the portal. When you enter Night Flight, your very first flight portal, I'ma say it again for the people in the back. When you enter Night Flight for the very first time, you will notice there are only 2 to 3 intended routes of completion in order to get everything in one go. And may I remind you that once again, this is your very first flight portal in the game. And no, we're not counting Sunny Flight as the first portal because realistically, you don't even know it exists yet. Anyways, let's also mention another important aspect which separates both of these trash ass portals from one another: room for error. Flight portals require players to go through certain obstacles or flame objects in order to collect gems and stay alive. The good thing about both of these portals is they both start you out with 25 seconds apiece. However, one of the biggest things that truly makes Night Flight so much harder than Wild Flight is the lack of room for error the player can make. If you happen to miss one thing in this portal, you already lost. You already lost. Just restart the level immediately. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a chest, an arch, a light. If you happen to miss one of those big ass rings at the start, it's safe to say you deserve to restart immediately because you are not going to have time to get it back. I guarantee it. Whereas Wild Flight, you can miss maybe 1 or 2 things in the midst of collecting things and still beat the level. Not to mention, you can even touch the ground in this portal without it actually slowing you down completely. If you touch the ground even for a second in Night Flight, you are done. You are done. Just restart the portal at that point, bro. It's over. And on top of all that, I didn't even mention that as a first-time player, you having to learn and adjust to the dumbass idea of having inverted controls. Yes, your very first flight portal. Not only are you still confused with the portal itself, but you also have to get used to flying in opposite directions in order to fly normally, which is fucking dumb in the first place, but that's a whole nother conversation for another video. It's still dumb as shit. Now, Wild Flight does have 4 things that stand out where I'm like, you know what? I can see why this is harder than Night Flight. I can see why certain people would pick Wild Flight over Night Flight. One reason, it's tight. Like, the tunnels are tight. This portal has some of the tightest, skinniest, most narrow tunnels in the game that require players to fly carefully to avoid crashing and failing. The second reason, very sharp turns. Whether you're going left or right, or even up or down, I can't lie to you, some of the turns in this portal are no joke. One moment you're flying straight left, and then immediately the next moment you're flying straight up and down. It's tough. And then the boats being so low and close to the water does not help whatsoever. The size. Believe it or not, Night Flight and Wild Flight are roughly the same size. However, you can't tell me that Wild Flight doesn't feel bigger than Night Flight. You can literally feel how massive this portal is compared to Night Flight. It feels almost endless. And then finally, my last reason. I won't lie to you, playing Wild Flight for the very first time was very confusing, easy to get lost, and its size does not help. It was one of those rare portals where remembering the map layout after every attempt was tough as hell. There's no doubt in my mind that this portal is very confusing. However, one thing that killed the whole confusion thing for this portal that would have saved me a bunch of time was turning the level map on. And even then, what really kills my argument for it being tougher than Night Flight is, once again, it's the 4th flight portal in the game. At this point of the game, you should have already adjusted to the bullshit you see in portals like this, especially after doing portals like Crystal Flight and Sunny Flight. So believe it or not, I'm still rocking with Night Flight in my opinion. In conclusion, both of these portals are ass and we all hate them. However, once again, I stand by my word when I say there is no flight portal in Spyro 1 worse than Night Flight, especially as a first time player. At least when you get to Wild Flight, you know how flight portals work at this point. But with Night Flight, it's like doing hot yoga for the very first time and not knowing what to expect. I'll wear better clothes next time, sweating my ass off, Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's all for today. I'm making one more flight video and it'll be a full Night Flight breakdown, and then I'm probably gonna go to Poppy Playtime for a little bit. I don't know, but till next time, I'm out.